Evelyn here, and today the book that I'm going to do read my book aloud from is entitled Curious George Feeds the Animals. This book is written by Margaret and H.A. Race. This book was illustrated by Pivot Interactives. This is Curious George series. As you all know, Curious George story. It's a very good book for like middle age, like let's say third, fourth, fifth graders. So it's good for like not beginner readers but people who can read. So this book, since it was like brought to life by Margaret and H.A. Ray more than like 60 years ago, Curious George has found a lasting place in the hearts of millions of boys and girls. Fans will laugh and cheer as they read this new adventure of their favorite mischievous monkey, George. Curious George's story is a very good story. This story is about Curious George and his friend, the man with the yellow hat, who wanted to go to the zoo. George wanted to go to the zoo for a new exhibit. Let's find out what happened. Do you think Curious George is going to be disciplined when he goes to the zoo?
I don't know.
You don't know. All right, so we're going to find out together. So this is my volunteer here, and then she's going to listen, and then if you have any question you can ask me. If I have a question I can also ask you. All right, so this is a book about Curious George goes to the zoo. All right. Curious George feeds the animals. This is George. George was a good little monkey and always very curious. One day, George went to the zoo with his friend, the man with the yellow hat. A new rainforest exhibit was opening and they wanted to be the first ones to get inside. But when they got to the new exhibit, the doors were closed. "We will have to come back later, George," the man said. "Why don't we visit the other animals while we wait?" First, they stopped to watch a zookeeper feed the seals. When he tossed his little fish up the air, the seals jumped up to catch them. Then they barked for more. "It looks like fun to feed an animal," said George. "Would you like something to eat too, George?" asked the man with the yellow hat. And he bought a snack for them to share. When they stopped to see the crocodile, George remembered how the zookeeper had fed the fish to the seals. He was curious. "Would the crocodile like something to eat too?" asked George. George tossed him a treat, and the crocodile snapped out of the air. Next, they visited the cowless. George thought the cowless were cute. Here was a friendly one. She was curious too. She wanted to see what George was eating. So he held out his hand out like this to share. George shared his treat with an elephant and a baby kangaroo. George was making lots of new friends at the zoo. The lion was already eating, but the hippopotamus tried a snack. Next, he gave a treat to an ostrich. Then George saw a giraffe. What fun to feed a giraffe! Giraffes usually have their heads up where we will see giraffe has a long neck high up in the trees. So George could see this giraffe would be easy to feed since they have a long neck. But as soon as he held out his hand, a zookeeper ran in. The zookeeper looked very, very angry. Was he angry with George? George didn't want to know. He didn't want to stay to find out. He slipped away. And the giraffes were happy to help George. But where did George go? Let's find out where George went. He was trying his best to hide. But little monkeys can stay still for long, not George. When George wiggled, the zookeeper was waiting. I see you, he said. Just then, another zookeeper hurried up. Come quick, she yelled. Someone saw the parrot. The first zookeeper led George to a bench. The parrot from our new exhibit escaped and I must help find it. He explained. You told George to wait right here. For him, wait right there. And before he left, he said, don't you know you are not supposed to feed the animals? The wrong food might make them sick. George felt so awful. He didn't know. He wasn't supposed to feed the animals. He didn't want to make them sick. George was looking at the treat in his hands when all of a sudden, what do you think will happen?
Let's find out.
All right, let's find out. A big bird swooped down and snatched it right from George's hand. Now George knew he wasn't supposed to feed the animals. But this one had helped itself. A zookeeper passing by was happy to see George. You found a parrot, she said. We've been looking for this bird all day. When she saw George snack, she said, this isn't destined to feed a parrot, but little one hurt. Would you like to help me put him back where he belongs? George was so glad to help after all the trouble he had caused. And together, they went back to the exhibit. There's a problem, the zookeeper said, pointing to the hole in the net. In the netting? Oh, wow. As the zookeeper discussed how to fix this, George had an idea. Yes, as curious as he is, he always has an idea. He climbed up like only a monkey can. And when he reached the hole, he tied the netting back together. Meanwhile, the first zookeeper returned. Catch that naughty monkey, he yelled. He was feeding the animals. But that little monkey found a parrot, another zookeeper told him. And look, he fixed the netting. Now we can open the exhibit. When George came down, all the zookeepers were cheering for him. Oh, George, good job. You did a great job. Awesome, George. Wonderful. Bravo. Finally, the celebration begins. And the doors were open. The man with the yellow hat was there. And George got to be the first ones to go inside as promised. As George walked in, the zookeepers thanked him. Thank you, George, for all your help. Please visit anytime, they said. George couldn't wait to come back and see his friends. But next time, he had remembered, unless you are a zookeeper, don't feed the animals. That is the story of George. Every kid is excited with this book. I hope you have a question. Do you have any question? How was your beginning thought? Did you think George can like be disciplined in the zoo?
No.
As usual, because he is very curious. This is the book I read. I did my read aloud book from. This is it. Thank you.